It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Liteforex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Hi guys, good afternoon. 3 p.m. CET, 2 p.m. London. US market is open. FX US market is open for something around 1 hour already. Nothing extraordinary on the FX side. Maybe yen crosses, plus of course indices. The yesterday move been faded for last few hours, so no continuation after yesterday fireworks, just squeeze, and looks like we have to start to think that market is not buying Mr. President Trump tweets. Something more is going to be needed to try to change that behavior. Anyway, we are going to cover New York Cash Open live, and we are going to cover EA official data release. So we are going to watch indices, we are going to watch crude oil, gold and majors. Before we start, a risk warning guys, as usual. Please bear in mind, trading effects on margin, trading crypto on margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for investors. You can sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, so please do not invest the money that you cannot afford to lose. Seek education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Okay. First thing first, if you were with me during UK CPI Live Market coverage, you've seen I took the long post data. We were talking about 2080, 2120 as a possible target. We hit the first one. We saw the rejection, so looks like market is respecting top of that range here. So more range trading on cable to the downside, 1240 weekly open, and in case of the breakdown we might retest 1215 and psychological 120 level. So that's the range above the weekly open, and in case of the breakdown, right, we might see 120 and stops below might be as a target for sellers. As of now, we are still above weekly open, so I cut half on rally, the remaining half being stop at profit +1. So overall, it was the first target was something around 225 R, but divided by 2, something like 1.10 R being collected here on cable. Still holding euro pound short, but been using this top of the channel. So when we went strongly to the downside, testing yesterday low, right, when we are starting to turn around. I'm not saying I closed partial at the very bottom, because I didn't, a little bit higher, but I took partial profit and renew it on this retest of the top of the channel as well. So that's how the things looks like from the cable perspective. Also looking for the pound Canadian, because of this switching slowly to the, again, slowly back to risk off. I'm looking for pound CAD. All right. I'm looking for some kind of the pullback. Okay. I'm looking for pullback below 160 to have a possibility to join the party to the upside. I think the stops might be taken out and top of the channel might be in play again, 61, 65. I've been watching after the UK CPI post our meeting. I've been watching this pound cable, but missed the long opportunity. I was not hurry to add to the pound long exposure, taking into the consideration that I've been already long pound via USD and euro. Anyway, let's get back to the most important thing. Market is fading. What we've seen yesterday, at least right now, trying to find some kind of the demand around this breakout level here, right? So post this China-US trade information about the delayed tariffs, about the back to the table and stuff like this. So we have the rejection. We are going to talk with Michał about that within the next few minutes. Of course, there are, again, White House administration very active. I've seen Ross commenting about the China. But if you remember my morning conversation with Michał, we are discussing from one side this a little bit of relief in relation to the US-China trade talks, but on the other hand, the Hong Kong in the background and the Chinese officials accusing US politicians to be behind all these things related to the Hong Kong. So it's not that clear. That's what we discussed as well. And if you haven't heard, you should visit archive section on the Liteforex channel, and you should find 2 mornings meetings, right? Pre-London Open and UK CPI. I've been talking to Michał during this UK CPI live market coverage. Anyway, we also testing very important level from gold perspective. If you remember what we were talking about this morning, so we are trying to test Monday high. So we have the high wave candle yesterday, very close to the outside day, but because of the close I wouldn't call it outside day. Anyway, it's gonna be interesting to see what's going to happen around the current levels, around the Monday high, right? Maybe slightly higher, the last demand zone from yesterday. So to the upside, levels above 1520 as possible supply, and below levels close to 1485, 1480 as possible demand. Let's have a look how market wants to play this situation out. So as of now, supply at the top, demand at the bottom. we will see. So fading. Still have 20 minutes to go when we are talking about the US cash market open. So we have few minutes. Let's try to connect with Michał. Let's check what is going on based on his view. So give us few seconds and we will be back together. Mr. Michał, how are you doing?
Hello, I'm pretty good. And you?
Welcome back.
Yeah,
we are
welcome
we
back.
are good here. We are good here. All good here. Listen, what do you think?
Yeah.
We had this discussion previously, so let's get back for a second and let's try to discuss for a second about this yesterday event. I mean related to the US and China, as well as Hong Kong and China. What do you have for us?
All I can add is that the President Trump by this delaying the tariffs cheered up markets a bit. Stocks stopped sliding, and also he added
there was
that
a huge short squeeze.
That was I think that was what he has on mean why he did that. This quick conversation and this very cheering comment that they're ready to make a deal, and it was very productive conversation. Didn't in your opinion
wasn't it the same as what we've heard many times in the past? What do you think?
Yes, that's why I think it's the same. Even the Moody's rating agency written that for them it's also just a temporary delay in the trade war. It's not something that could make a bigger meaning right now. It also, we see this correlation that it also happened everything with the very weak data in China, and I think he just see that China is getting a big hit, and it's not the right moment to win this war, right? He wants to keep it tense at the moment, and right before the elections to give the stocks the reason to rise again, right?
That's what we discussed some time ago.
Yes, we discuss all the time.
We that it's an election game.
That's right, and he's not stupid. He's playing it really well. He just he wanted more of those those trade tariffs. He talks about the China, the EU. It's more like he wants to put the pressure on Fed to cut the rates immediately right now, so it could affect later on the investment, on the consumer spending, right? So it could drive the stocks a little bit higher, but we see the data are very good about the CPI, and I think the Fed right now have a little moment to breathe. A headache, but it's a little moment for to breathe and think, because there are no Trump at the moment has a bigger problem with the situation in China, and he's trying to play a good one in this context, right? Because of course China is accusing US for all this mess that they were trying to cause it from the inside. Yeah, but about the situation in Hong Kong, yeah, they also urged the Chinese to respect the agreement that they made, and this is about the pictures and the informations about Chinese military forces, right, and that they could interfere on the island, and they are like also naming this whole riot terrorists.
But that's the good excuse to send
yes,
the troops, right?
Of course, that's right. It's exceeding the peace manifest, but I think we can say that it's a terrorist attack or terrorist-based situation, right? Getting back to the delaying tariffs, of course, he wants to. He doesn't want to put pressure on the U.S. companies before the Christmas, right? He separate the tariffs, and he left the products, the toy products and laptops, electronics, to put the tariffs on later in the mid-December, right? But fun fact, the tech giants like Apple, they see that they know that the iPhones will not be much more. The cost will be the same, right? But the AirPods that goes with them, those wireless AirPods, will be affected by the tariffs in the September at the moment. So it's like very difficult situation for the business owners in the US that they it was even too late to make some actions because the clothing companies and that shoemakers and those from those sectors, they said that they even didn't have the time to react, because for the fabrics, for the manufacturers in China, it took about 4 weeks to fulfill I forgot the word.
Order.
Yeah, that's right. Fulfill the orders.
All right.
Thank you.
I think going back to Mr. President Trump and to get back to Mr. President Trump and what he's doing, I think that if we are going to get back a few days back ahead of the latest FOMC, when there was a comments from White House administration and Mr. President Trump that it's not because of the China, but right now it's all those bad things are because of the Federal Reserve. But as you mentioned a second ago, the data, US data, simply is not good excuse to try to cut the rates, right? So that's
right.
the Fed headache, and I think trying to get all those from some kind of the perspective, I think that with this comment about the Fed, that's where I think that's where Trump lost his way, and looks like yesterday, let's call it pump news about the China, been quickly faded. Looks like might be that market doesn't want to buy anymore this kind of the let's face it, this kind of the bullshits. Looks like we need something more, and the yesterday action also probably was related. There was a mention that trying not to disrupt the upcoming shopping because of the Christmas, so trying not to disrupt the Christmas. But I think that simply someone argued that, guys, what we are talking about, stocks is crashing, let's do something, and that was the main key of this action yesterday. It was the both sides, China and US. Anyway, it doesn't look good right now, based on what we see here on Nasdaq, the chart in front of us. We are almost closing this huge gap we've seen post news. So the beginning of the US session is gonna be very, very interesting. Anything else, Michał, from your side?
I think that they will, yeah, in short term, I think it will be. We will see higher levels because of this tariffs delay, right? I think it will be yes, still actual, still it will go in that way. What I want to mention about the Trump, yeah, you mentioned good that he just slipped his. He didn't pay attention to what did he said very correctly, because he slipped that about the Fed, about this whole thing that he wanted to put a fake pressure, as we see right now, and yeah, he tried to search for another good information, another good like positive information about him that to cover this, I think. And one of the things, it's the deal with the UK, right? He sent it U.S. Representative John Bolton to visit London and like give a cheer, give a thumbs up that you know, guys, we're with you, and we look forward for you to leave the EU at the 31st of the October, right? And he was cheering that they are ready to fast forward the quick bilateral trade deal, and he mentioned the manufacturing and that including the car manufacturing and the financial centers, so that they can make a good deal. He see a very big possibilities in this sector. But later, then he mentioned that he didn't realize how big problem is this with the Northern Ireland border, right? About this Good Friday statement, and the EU, the Brexit without a deal could affect the stability in the region. Yeah, and later then we saw the statement from another White House representative that there is no possibility of a deal without settling the matter about the Northern Ireland border. So
we know where we are, right?
Back and forth. I think it mainly what we see from the Boris Johnson actions is that he is working hard on that. He's taking less care, we can say, about the new deal with the EU, because he rejected the old deal that Theresa May worked out with the EU representatives, and he's mostly concerned about the new possibilities and preparing for the worst, right? And we see that in the latest days. So I think that's all from my side. I am giving it all to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Michał. Thanks for your inputs, and see you around, right? Have a good rest of the US session. Thank you. Goodbye, Michał.
See you in the comments.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
All right, guys, so we are back. The morning session was positive with the cable and partial profit taking on euro pound shorts, reopen it, but as explained before, the euro pound trade is a little bit different. It's from medium-term perspective. I'm going to monitor this one. But important thing is how the US guys are going to react around the US cash open for what we've seen. There was that's what I've been trying to explain. There was one big move yesterday. That was this 30 minutes candle on Nasdaq, and there was attempt to continue, which was quickly rejected, right? And we haven't seen the continuation for the whole Tokyo, Europe. So market was bored, and the weakest longs were forced to cover, right? That's how the things looks like. So from the intraday perspective, I'm not gonna be surprised that we are going to see market revisiting yesterday low and try to move even lower towards end of the week, especially that half of the Europe or most of the Europe tomorrow starting the long weekend. So more manipulation with lower liquidity. So stop hunt below yesterday low and towards the lows we've seen on the 6th of August as well as the 5th of August, right? So beginning of the last week and the end what we've seen 2 weeks ago. In case of more pump the stock news, we might see market will try to turn around the current levels or a little bit lower from the Nasdaq perspective, somewhere close to yesterday cash market open, right? So that might be the key. We have like 2 minutes to open US cash market. So let's prepare first 5 minutes. Let's prepare ourselves for the first 5 minutes trading range as usual, and let's try to figure it out what we might see after that, right? I think that we might expect some more China related news. We might see the attempt to try to lift the stocks. The question is if the market will buy that one. Okay, so we have less than 2 minutes, so let's wait for the US cash market open. So there we go, first ticks of the US cash market open. Let's have a look what we are going to get during the first 5 minute trading range. Let's try to create some trading plan, then we will have short break and we will continue around the top of the hour, and we are going to prepare ourselves for oil inventories. So going back above these levels over here might produce some bigger rally. We'll see, watching carefully. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It might be volatile day. Pump it up. We need to get back above this yellow line and above, actually above the yellow zone over here. It would be good to try to cover it within the first 5 minutes, to be somewhere here higher. But the cash open levels are working as a magnet right now. 36 points range, nice. But we wanna see the directional close, right? I don't wanna see the doji. Gold is trying to retest the Monday high. Sell off continue on oil. Shame, huge shame on oil. I've been thinking that we are gonna be around the high. If you remember, we knew it in advance where oil may stop based on the ranges. And I've been thinking that we are going to see attempt to break higher, so some kind of the false double top with this second top as a stop count and rejection. It unfortunately didn't materialize yet. All right, just a bit into the positive side, as you can see, high wave candle. This trend line might be traded. It wasn't the directional close as of now. The next level of possible demand is much lower, towards the yesterday cash open. Taking into the consideration where we are compared where the cash market opened compared to where cash market closed, right? We might try to fill that gap. Cable trying to recover as well, but really taking into the consideration the euro dollar or pound, it's all about the range right now. 12.30, 12.50 to the upside, 11.60, 11.40 to the downside on euro dollar. A cable 2015, 20 level, psychological one to the upside, 2080, 21.20. It might be a little bit disappointed, boring. Looks like the pound Canadian is gonna to revisit the top of the channel without me. We might see some kind of the rejection, so that might be when the risk on will start. We'll see. The first 5-minute range was quite wide, 36 points as I mentioned. So in case of the move back above those two yellow lines, in other words above this zone, it might produce the rally as I mentioned towards the top of the green zone from the daily chart, right? So we might see this type of the rally trying to close the gap related to the yesterday cash market close. So it might be all about the manipulation to the downside, and we are going to get the answers probably within the next few minutes. FX options will expire within the next 20 minutes at 10 a.m. New York. So let's have a look what we have from that perspective. Dollar yen trading around 106, and we have huge 1.5 billion around 1580, 16. So we are within this zone. So 1.5 billion. So it might work as a magnet. From the euro dollar perspective, we are trading around 111 and 11180. I'm sorry, 11180. At 112, 112.10, we have 1.5 billion as well. So looks like those two, we might see attempt to pop on euro dollar. We might see more consolidation on dollar yen. In case of the pop, I'm watching the weekly open as no change. So I'm watching the price action on the weekly open in case of rejection and trying to join the party to the downside. So on Nasdaq, we are retesting high of the first 5 minutes trading range. Just one tick or two above the first 5 minutes high, rejected. I will see if that's the signal to go lower. We'll see, guys. Let's have a look where we are going to be around the top of the hour, right? It's time for the first break today. Bar is open, coffee, tea for you. I'm going to mute myself. Charts are gonna be visible. I'll be back around the top of the hour, guys. Hi guys, time for second part of our meeting today. It looks like we do have euro dollar breakdown through Monday low, so looks like market wants to expand the range downside. So the next level of possible demand from the intraday perspective is that orange zone. It's around 1130, 1140. And below that we have another one towards 1110 and 11, and then 1070, 1060, and the lows here around the swing low from the daily chart on euro dollar. The actual breakdown here on euro dollar, it's also quite positive from this euro pound perspective. Still trying to hold, we are still trying to hold the yesterday low, as you can see here, right? The thing is, we are going to approach within the next hour. We are going to get London ticks. Hopefully, we are going to be able to break through that levels, right? Trying to fall and retest bottom of the potential channel as we reacted at the top at the falling trend line quite a few times already from intraday perspective. So shorts are working fine here. Not big deal when we are talking about the indices, at least for now. What I mean by that is that as I mentioned during the first 5-minute trading range, I've been expecting some kind of the directional close, right? So away from the cash open, but it didn't materialize. So that provides the explanation for the current market situation. So market is trying to find a direction. I think it might happen towards the second part of the US session after the New York launch. We are awaiting EA data release. Unfortunately, as I mentioned before, I've been looking to try to short that beast, the oil, towards 57.50, and that's what we were talking about even not yesterday, a few days ago. And we got there, but I've been thinking that after such a huge rally, another attempt and then rejection. Pretty much that's what I've been thinking about all instruments, and it didn't materialize. First rejection, and quickly within less than 24 hours, market is fading what we've seen yesterday, and that's that might hurt at some point. From the Nasdaq perspective, we are testing few possible demand levels based on intraday chart. As you can see, few lines, orange, yellow. So that's the few possible demands based on the short-term time frame, very short-term time frame. As we are trying to bounce here, we are trading 45. The reopen was 66. I'm going 66. I'm going to cover half again of this, less than half. And in case of the rally again, I will try to take the advantage. I'm still sitting short, so I did this partial close twice already today. So yeah. The good thing from I think that what is going on pound USD and euro USD is mostly based on what is going on euro pound right now. There few things have to happen from the risk on perspective for us to see the bulls are back. It's time to move up on the indices. It's time to reject right now. If we are going to take into the consideration this bigger rejection, we are testing these levels right now. Okay, it's time to reject here as well. Well, oil should start to slowing down, and we should see sell-off, continuation of the sell-off in gold. I'm not sure if it's not too much in terms of expectations, but you know, yesterday we switched like the sprinters, 60-meter sprinters, from risk off to risk on, right, based on the news. And the dollar yen theoretically should hold, if not Monday high, then weekly open, right? So something in between 105.60 to 105.25. It doesn't look good. It looks ugly a bit. Europe is on holiday, bank holiday tomorrow. Only London is working. The rest of the Europe bank holiday. So we don't have morning pre-London Open live market coverage. So it's probably good moment. If I'll be around, I will make the cryptocurrency update with the current move of the Bitcoin below 11,000. So I'm going to watch carefully, and if I'm around, I'm going to prepare crypto market update tomorrow morning. Well, taking into the consideration, I still think we might see a little bit lower levels, but volatility is quite nice, and looks like we are moving on equal waves. We'll see. And we are still around the cash open, right? The one here is a cash open. Euro is continuing to the downside. $11.40, $11.30. Yeah. So we didn't hit 12 today. We discussed this morning as a selling opportunity. If you remember, this morning we were talking about the dollar index, that there is some space where the bears may try to attack again, right? And we were trying to translate this into the euro dollar, either 11.40.30 or lower towards 11. Taking into the consideration what is going on euro pound, that might be the case as well. I missed this euro dollar because we didn't touch 12 or above 112, but on the other hand, it's good because I'm still short euro pound, right? So I'm overall short euro anyway. US 10-year minus 2-year yield today, first inversion since August 2007. That's what I found from the news site. Didn't confirm it yet by myself. Also, 87% of the Canadian yield curve is now inverted. And just in relation to the Canada, just 2 points away from the peak of the housing bubble. So looks like that's gonna be the name of the game. All right, we are about to see some kind of the reaction on the gold, I can see right now. So we didn't test quite yet the range high, talking about the Monday high. So still not for me here. So what's the plan for the second part of the day? Looking for some kind of the signs of what's going to happen. Euro dollar. I'm going to watch very carefully 11.40, 11.30. If market will try to hold that level. If not, I'm gonna to look to fade rally towards Monday low maybe, or maybe still weekly open, because okay, we are falling, yeah, agree, we are falling, but guys, the size of the range for the last few days, it's like without the shadows 54 pips, right? And we were talking about this range. We didn't quite get there for stops yesterday. Didn't quite get. We are attempting to break lower. We have few important levels In case of the breakdown, rally, retest, and I'm going to look for selling opportunity. It's not that bad because I'm still sitting euro pound short, right? Cable, well, I told you that I might try to skip with dollar and looking around for different crosses, and I'm watching pound Canadian dollar. That's what we discussed, but wanna see the pullback. In case of the turnaround on stocks, right, I'm going to look for dollar yen buying opportunity maybe, or pound yen, or pound Swiss franc. The thing is that I can't see any kind of the attempt to turn around. So it might be what we discussed at the very beginning, that I'm not gonna be surprised if we are going to try to retest much lower levels, if we are going to try to take out yesterday low, right? But I would like to see at least some you know, some fight. Right now I can't see any buyers. We have 10 minutes to go to the official EA. Thinking how to try to join the party on oil. And probably the green, a retest of the green over here could be the solution. Green zone from daily chart. Let's have a look where we are for Australian dollar perspective. Don't forget that we have the Australian job market. Let me confirm. During the upcoming Tokyo session, Asian session, yeah. Employment change. The expectations are employment rate stays same. So yeah, Aussie is gonna be influenced by the data. Watching carefully where we are right now from Aussie yen perspective. There was an attempt to break yesterday, break higher, strongly rejected, right? It doesn't look good. Even Aussie Kiwi is pulling back right now below 105. Yeah. Yellow zone over here, that's the possible demand which has not been tested, so yeah. Can we try to make that one? Yo! Still possible, guys. I've been forced to open the window. It doesn't work, so hopefully you are not disturbing but the noise outside. you know, 92% inside me is a typical sell the rally, buy the dip. For quite some time, very rarely trading breakouts or breakdowns. And in case of the when we are talking about the risk on risk off, I mean, I had a conversation with my colleague. He's trading longer than me. He's trading since '94. So he started like 6-7 years earlier than me. And I had a conversation with him, and what we agreed that both of us, right, the old school, we were waiting for this spike, at least towards yesterday high. So I've been looking for some kind of the double top with the second top cleaning the stops, right? But I had a conversation with this colleague. We agreed on that might be the solution. But what we were also discussing, that come on, the market has changed. We are not in a bull market, so we might not see this type of the price action. And looks like, yeah, in the middle of the way, it was hard to join the party to the downside, and so I missed that one this time. Strong fight is going on here on Euro Pound, and it's related to what we discussed before. Let me make the cleaning here. It's related to what we've seen previous week, right? Friday breakout. So the bottom of that candle also has a great chance to work as a demand. Those before the Friday, we had 3 upper shadows. So they broke through. So these upper shadows are working as a demand, possible demand as well. And then finally, we have some kind of demand towards 91.90. Plenty of possible levels to try to still fight with Euro Pound based on what we discussed, and from higher time frame perspective, what we've seen previously. That was the explanation into my medium term short on Euro Pound, right? So hopefully that's clear. So what we've seen again, that's we have to understand sometimes, right, that it's not only that, because that's many times young traders are doing this mistake that euro dollar is the most important. No, it's not. It's cheaper. Okay, different way. It is important when we are talking about the volume, right? And it is the most popular currency pair and stuff like this. But you have to understand that sometimes to move euro dollar by 1 or 2 pips, it's much less cheaper doing this via euro pound, because you know we cannot move euro pound without the moving euro dollar, right? So sometimes that's how it works, right? And very often you can hear me saying that, for example, euro is supported because of what is going on euro yen or euro pound, or euro is under pressure because of what's going on euro yen or euro pound, right? So via crosses. So that's yeah, very important to understand this thing. That sometimes market is not moving directly euro dollar, but euro dollar is moving because of something else. So we are approaching this breakout level. So we are closing this this gap, I would say, right? Because we can call this candle as a gap. I know that there are, some guys are going to yell on me. Well, what are you talking about? What a gap! What a gap! It's a gap, and we are closing the gap right now. So let's have a look. We should see some kind of the reaction, and taking into the consideration the shadows. Of course, this is a lower low, but it's a shadow. We might end up with the bounce here, right? So if gap is almost closed, 50% of that range, top of this green, previous demand, then supply, blah blah blah. So that's what we have here. 2 minutes to go. This is a 30 minutes chart, so we are about to close in 1 minute the candle. So nice 3 drives to the downside. All of them are shadows. The fourth might be, depends on the close, the fourth might be nice one. Because right now, you know how it works, and believe me, that's how it works, because I've been there a few years back, and I'm pretty sure many young traders are doing this mistake, right? So after such a rally, there was some kind of the consolidation. So no, we didn't sell, right? So then was the breakdown, right? And we didn't sell because we were waiting for sell rallies, pullback towards the broken range. It didn't materialize. Another breakdown, right? No, it didn't happen. So here we have plenty of sellers right now, probably, right? I'm not saying we are going straight to the upside from here. What I'm saying that it's easy to be trapped trying to sell right now, because we are selling into that yesterday demand, right? Again, I'm not saying that we are going straight from here to the upside. What I'm saying that it's very easy to be trapped here trying to sell, because what kind of the risk you are taking compared to reward, right? So at least from here, you should wait for 50% of that range for this base over here. That's how I see the things. I don't know, but that's how I see the things. So what we need to have here, the latest on 5 minutes here. So we are trying to hold this breakout level. I'm not sure what we need more. 30 minutes back. It didn't quite hit those yellow lines, right? Yet. But it might be the delay. Then after some time, market will ask for that level. Anyway, let's have a look what we have here. Gap up rejected on oil, and that's the data. Not sure if I'm going to put it. Yeah. All right, euro dollar is approaching very significant level. That's the latest weakness here, the breakdown manipulation point. Wall Street Journal investigation. About the highway. And we are approaching the London fix. All right, guys. So, what's the plan? Watching very carefully what is going on Europe, on Euro Pound. In case we are going to hold these levels, it might be that Euro will start to rally from that level, right? The homework for you is to watch also the dollar index based on what we discussed this morning during the pre-London Open, right? As we are approaching from intraday perspective, we are approaching very, very important levels. Possible demand around 11.40, 11.30 on euro dollar, then down to 11.10 and 11. Possible supply around the Monday low, then around the weekly open, right? So we are talking either around the levels close to 11.60, 65 or levels 112 plus. Cable, no change, whatever. You can see what is going on. I'm not trying to, you know, discover America. Very narrow range on the cable. Yesterday and today data was cable positive, that's adding into my view that I got a chance for Euro Pound to see lower levels, and that's one of the exposure I have on the pound, right? But as you know, maybe not via dollar, but I'm watching pound via Canadian dollar as well, right? In case of the turnaround on risk, meaning that we are switching to risk on again, I may watch pound Swiss franc and pound yen as well. Don't forget about the Australian jobs market data during the upcoming Asian hours. Last not least, I'm going to watch 1520 from the short gold perspective based on what we discussed, what we have on a daily chart. So be careful out there. We discussed today the possibility how the market may trap us, right, based on for example Nasdaq chart. So don't be trapped. Again, tomorrow, because of the bank holiday in most countries in EU, we are not going to cover a pre-London Open. But if I'm around, I might make an update crypto related. Then at 2 p.m. because of the US data, at 2 p.m. CT, 1 p.m. London, we are going to cover New York session live, and we are going to cover the upcoming news. So that's it today, guys. It was my pleasure to be with you here. Wait for the London to close, London fix. Be careful, and if you have a time and enough power, watch what is going to happen over the second part of the US session after the lunch. Have a great one, guys, and see you again tomorrow. Goodbye.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Liteforex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.